Okay guys, welcome to my first tactics video of this Football Manager and just ever. I have recently made a pretty good Pep Guardiola-esque tactic. Unlike a lot of the other tactics I use in FM and that other people use, it's not like vertical football. And if you don't know what I mean by vertical football, it's like how quickly you transition from defence to attack. So let's say a team like Brentford is very vertical. Because what they would do a lot of the time is, like, Raya, their keeper, would just go to Tony. And then they've got the ball up the pitch very quickly, which is them going vertical. It's also like in Football Manager, where you have vertical tiki-taka and tiki-taka, where vertical tiki-taka aims to move the ball up the pitch. And it has more of an emphasis on that and creating chances. So today I'm not showing you a vertical tactic like that. I'm showing you a very dominant possession tactic. As you can see here, I've done a bit over half a season and I'm undefeated. If we go over to the stats, team overview, we have the most points per game, obviously, because we're top of the league. Goals per game, we're actually only third and we're quite a bit off. This is what I was saying before with it not being as vertical a system. With shots, we're actually joint fourth. The chances we create are higher, like they'd be better chances than what Everton and Arsenal create, which is why we're scoring more goals than them. Here you can see we're top of shots against, so we don't face many shots. We have the best pass completion by a bit. Obviously, because it's a possession tactic, we keep the ball well. And with it being a possession tactic, 63% possession, I don't know if I've ever seen that high an average of a team I manage, which is why I think I've done well creating this tactic. We're also top of most dribbles made, most clean sheets, and we're joint top of fewest conceded. We've only conceded 8 goals in about 22 matches. So you probably want to see the actual tactic now. And boom, here it is. I started off with tiki-taka as a basis, but I pretty much just changed it all. First of all, I'm going to go over the actual in possession, in transition and out of possession instructions before I go over the roles. First of all, for in possession, it's not that like complicated. It's just much shorter passing, much lower tempo, play out of defence, and lower crosses. You don't have to do lower crosses, it's just with teams where you're doing possession tactics. Normally, you won't have like a big target man up top, so it's just better to do low crosses. Obviously, if you've got like a big hold-up striker, then just don't do low crosses. The much shorter passing and much lower tempo is fairly obvious. One thing I do have to say is some people think tempo is just how quickly they're going to kick the ball once they get it. Tempo is like whether or not you're looking to go. It's like this idea of vertical that I talked about earlier. So once you get the ball, are you looking to go forward with it every time? Whereas much lower, if there's not like a forward option, they're fine just playing it to like their. Let's say Ruben Diaz gets it, he's fine playing it to John Stones or the keeper or the DM because of this much lower tempo. Now in transition, I have on counter press. This is because we want to get the ball back quickly once we lose it so we can regain possession and start knocking it about again. Once possession has been won, obviously I'm not putting counter on because we're just trying to keep the ball for a long time, recycle possession until we have that chance. I get my keeper to distribute quickly because I just do, you don't need to. And then for distribution type, just roll it out to someone who's nearby. Now for out of possession, it's pretty much just your standard gegenpress. As you can see here, much higher lines, offside trap, force them out wide, trigger the press a lot, stop short distribution from the keeper, and stay on feet. I'll be honest, with like this FM and experimenting around with it, I'd normally have stay on feet with most tactics, just because otherwise you get so many yellow and red cards, at least with what I find. Now for the player roles, defense is all pretty standard. So keeper, default sweeper keeper on defend. By putting him on defend, like if you look at attack, it's take more risks and dribble more. These are things which are more likely to turn over possession. With the centre backs, it is literally just default centre back on defend. Ruben Diaz is on cover. Just because of the high line we play, we need someone to go behind and like sweep up those balls. Wing backs do have Mark Titer on, as you can see here. Kyle Walker's actually a fullback on Mark Titer, mainly just because of what's in front of him. It's a Mazzala who's already coming into this space. The inside forward's already up here. So because of that, I still want him to sometimes get forward because that wing back on like the overlap is very nice to have. But I don't always want him getting forward because that's going to get us caught out a lot of the time. Something I've experimented with like a wing back on support and a wing back on defend. full back on it. I found this to be the best. Again, just with the Mark Titer instructor on. Now for my DM, I've got a half-back with Mark Titer on again. With all this Mark Titer stuff, I'd recommend you doing this in any of your tactics. Unless you're someone who goes and does opposition instructions, which I don't normally do. It's just worth having Mark Titer on a lot of these players. Anyway, what a half-back would do a lot of the time is they'll give a passing option like to the centre-backs and slot in between them. Okay, so let's say Kyle Walker's got the ball out here. Like the whole defence can spread out and have Rodri slip into the middle here. Just to pick up the ball. Now for the midfield too, it's just a box-to-box midfielder on Mark Titer. I like a box-to-box midfield for like offering an option a lot of the time. Because obviously they're on that roam from position. They'll go over to where the action is a lot of the time and just be a simple option. As well as that, the box-to-box midfielder offers us saying an attack. Especially when you're building up as slow as we do. They'll always be like involved in the attacks. Now the Metzala role is one De Bruyne has played this season. And it is probably... if we look at De Bruyne's stats, he has got 14 goals and he's our top goal scorer. So this Metzala role, obviously it's making that runs from deep, like to go up and support the attack. But the difference between this and let's say like an advanced playmaker is like a playmaker will often be like the focal point. I'm trying to think other roles you could use. You could probably get away with like a centre mid on attack. Yeah, I really think a centre mid on attack or like a Metzala like I have are like the two options here. A playmaker's not awful, but I find they would turn it over a lot more. Obviously, this has the Mark Titer on as well. Now for the front three, very standard, just two inside forwards. They've both got the Mark Titer role on and the deep lying forward on attack. I've tried out a few things in this striker role. What I did know is that I wanted a striker who would like occasionally drop to pick up the ball. And there's a few things I've tried. I've tried a false 9, which was somewhat successful. It's very good if you want to play your wingers up top. I'd recommend a false 9 in this system. Trequartista may work, but I haven't really tried it. Pressing forward probably would work on support. They would probably like drop in enough to work. Complete forward I imagine would work, but I don't really think Gabriel Jesus is a complete forward. And he's like the only striker as well as a couple of wingers who could play up there. Poacher, no. Target forward, yeah, target forward could probably work. Don't have any target forwards. Advanced forward, no, it's just that again, like Poacher, it's just someone who's going to be on the last man trying to score goals. Then deep lying forward, which is what I went with, obviously a yes. Okay guys, thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm planning on doing more tactics video in the future, as well as just continuing my journeyman save. If you're wondering where my face went, I forgot to record an outro because I'm really good at this YouTube stuff. Anyway, I've been Magda FM, thank you for watching, and goodbye.